Good morning, this is Dominic with TheBackVlog, and I'm joined by Robin this morning. Last weekend, we watched, both of us, my fiance and I, watched the film Weapons, the Zach Kreger film of Whitest Kids You Know fame. Firstly, I would like to say, I'm not the first one to say it, and I won't be the last one to say it, but I am here for Zach Kreger being one of the leading voices in modern horror. Who knew? 20 years ago. I mean, I grew up with Whitest Kids, Aside from David Lynch's death, Trevor Moore's death was like one of the celebrity deaths that affected me very deeply. So yeah, if you asked me 20 years ago, or if you told me 20 years ago that Zach Kreger would be, directing very unique and incredibly well done and competent horror comedy films with like a twinge of pulp, I probably wouldn't have understood what you were talking about at the time because I would have been like 10. But I would have been like, all right, cool, man. Oh, she hears a voice outside. One thing I want to say about Weapons, which applies to Barbarian also. So this is 2 for 2. Well, I mean, in terms of his horror films, because Zach Kreger has directed before as well with Trevor Moore and some Whitest Kids stuff. This new horror comedy direction he's going in. His approach to narrative structure is something I really like. Because like in Barbarian, you had like a distinct part 1 and part 2, and in this one you have like an ensemble approach where it's like you have a section following one character, and then the next section follows another character, and kind of like you can piece a story together that way in like a Pulp Fiction kind of way. And I really like that aspect of storytelling, or story structure. Another note I have written down is just about the comedy horror, and Barbarian was the same way, but like, it's this really mysterious and bloody and gory. There are also these scenes where it's like you're being presented a very comedic image. These unforgettable images, which honestly feel like punchlines to Whitest Kids sketches. Like in the case of this film, like the very end of it, I'm gonna try to avoid spoilers, but just in case I let something slip, be warned. You should probably watch Weapons. You should probably watch Weapons anyway, because of something else I'll talk about a little bit later. Yeah, he's like creating these very, I would say, like kind of borderline Lynchian moments. The dialogue is like really funny at times too. Like some of the characters are like caricatures of, I mean, they're just caricatures. They're cliche, but they're really good. So the poster, and this is like the first ever association I've had with the film. But the poster with the kids running, like with their arms out, it's very evocative of scarecrows, and I don't know if that's intentional or not, but I always associated this movie poster with like a scarecrow. And once you start to uncover the mystery of what's really going on here, and they start to introduce the witch mythology, which I guess it's kind of hinted at, the witch thing with graffiti on Justine Candy's car. The reason I bring up the witch thing is because I don't know if there's like a folklore relation between scarecrows and witches. I was kind of like looking into that, and I couldn't really find much. I didn't really do much research on it though, so I'm sure there's something. But I don't know if the scarecrow thing is what Zach Kreger was intending. But I just thought that was really interesting. So I don't know if you know your horror folklore. Let me know down in the comments if scarecrows and witches have anything to do with each other. One thing that saddens me to talk about is the fact that I don't think this movie will ever get an official physical release. Hopefully time will prove me wrong, but I believe there was some sort of, I don't know if it was like an exclusivity detail or some sort of clause in the contract of Barbarian, but it's locked on whatever streaming platform it's on now. I'm not even sure what it is. And you know, like this is a case with a lot of other stuff too. But you know, these films aren't getting physical media releases, and they're stuck on streaming platforms. And I think that's not a good thing because, you know, if that streaming platform ever decides to take that down or censor it, that movie will be lost. And I'm worried that Weapons will suffer the same fate. So consider this my call to action to get Weapons on Blu-ray, and Barbarian while you're at it. Now that we're done worrying about the future, let's start being hopeful for the future, because Zach Kreger's next film, I believe, or I don't know if it's going to be his next film or if it's just a project he wants to do, and is like in the process of making come to fruition. But I know he wants to make a Resident Evil film, and I think, if I remember correctly, he wants it to be an adaptation of the first game. You know, he wants to make it scary, but he also wants to add the camp that the first Resident Evil had. And I think Zach Kreger, you know, having proven himself with Barbarian and Weapons, with the extreme horror on top of the camp, I think he has proven that he is capable of capturing the tone of the original Resident Evil perfectly. So we'll see, but you know, I'm excited for that at least. Weapons, written and directed by Zach Kreger, is incredibly good, and it's a very good Halloween movie. But you know, when I'm recording this, it's like late August. But if this came out in October, this would have been a freaking blockbuster hit, even more so than it already is, and deservingly so. But yeah, please watch Weapons.